Hey guys, it's Charlene. I am so excited to share this brand new release with you. This is from Hero Arts and Ralph Tyndall. So if you remember, the last release with Ralph had all kinds of fun things, and there was an awesome stage that you could build. Check this out. You have the holiday marquee messages as well as the sparkling holiday stage bundle and the coordinating dies. You have those lovely Rockette style dancers with some really fun things to put on the stage. And then you could use one of these messages on there. How cute is that? Up next, I have this interactive 8-ball. This is so cool. I think I had like 4 of these when I was a kid. And then you have the 8-ball fancy dies. The stamps work with those dies perfectly. So cool. I'm loving the nostalgic vibe. The sentiments are curved, so they fit perfectly around the 8-ball, and then you have the little answers that will show up. I'm not using this today, but I will definitely be giving that a try. Don't worry, I will be making a card. And here we have this brand new Heroscape. This is the Street View Heroscape bundle. You have this forced perspective of a city street, a couple of different silhouette stamps, people for crossing, and then of course some coordinating dies that cut out various parts like the stoplight. I could see making a very fun card with this. Now, this is what we're going to be using today because it's just super cute. I might have actually squealed when I saw this. This is the retro game stamps and fancy dies. How adorable is this? It looks like an old school Game Boy, which is so cute. It cuts out the entire thing for you and is really, really fun. It even has the little game cartridge. So you'll see this is going to be an interactive card. And then lots of old school favorite games can be represented. Things like Tetris, Asteroids, Pac-Man, all the cute stuff, guys. So let's get started. When you first take this apart, I actually recommend leaving this entire side intact. You can see I did take out this tiny little circle piece here that's really not going to impact anything, but I definitely recommend taking out everything on the one side and leaving everything else on the other. Then you can run it through your die cutting machine and create your own perfect little template to keep and use in the future. So you do want to cut this out of some heavier weight cardstock, but then it'll make it really easy to line up your pieces rather than trying to figure it out kind of free range. I've cut out all of my pieces, but before I move on, I want this tiny piece down here in the bottom right hand corner. I want to actually cut out of the front of my card. You could separately cut out pieces and glue them to the front of your card, but I want this to have those holes in the front of the card. Hopefully that makes sense as you're watching this. So I'm going to just line it up using my template, and then I can go ahead and tape it in place and cut those little pieces out with my die cutting machine. I've cut out all of my buttons 3 times, and I'm going to layer these. It's going to give us some really cool dimension on the front of the card. And now I've placed my piece here. I'm going to put the template over the top, and then I'm just using a pencil to trace around where everything is going to go. You don't have to worry about any of that pencil showing, because when you put your buttons over the top of it and your screen over the top of it, it's going to cover all of those pencil marks. For the screen, I'm just putting marks where the corner goes so that way I can see it really easily. And now I can put my template away. I'll start with the select and start stamps, and so I'm just putting these on my MISTI and then picking them up with the door of my MISTI as I go along. I added the A-B buttons, and then I'm going to put happy birthday there. Everything's going to get stamped out here in some nautical ink, so I'm going to make sure to get a nice bit of coverage with the ink on my stamps, and I'm just going to press lightly and do more than one stamping here. I don't want any of my line work to get messed up and be thicker than it needs to be, so I'll stamp this down once and lift. Now I'll bring it down a second time and stamp again and lift, and it looks really great. Before I start gluing things on, I'm going to go ahead and fold this right along the score line. And now I can glue all of the buttons down to where they are marked. Really easy. Like I said, it's not going to show any of those pencil lines. Super handy to make that template ahead of time. I'm using my wax pickup tool to pick up the smaller buttons. I just added some glue directly to the card front. And look at all of that dimension. It looks so, so cool with those stacked up. Next, I can add some glue to the edge of our screen, and then I will just line it up with those pencil marks. You can see I cut the inset part out of some black cardstock, and that's the area where the game is going to be happening on the screen, but you also could stamp out a sentiment on the screen, lots of different options. I cut the tiny little circle, which, careful, that die is really tiny. I cut it out of some bright yellow green. That's our little power button. Now I'm going to go ahead and stamp on the screen. Now, if you remember the original Game Boy, it was not in color. It had a green screen and the graphics were kind of like a grayish color. But you know, you gotta take some creative license when it comes to card making. That's part of the fun. So I have some unicorn pigment ink here and I'm gonna stamp it on the black screen. Now, of course, you could use a white screen and this process would be much easier. But I really wanted to have that black screen because that's what you would see with Pac-Man. So in between stampings of that pigment ink, you're gonna wanna hit your paper with your heat tool just to dry the pigment ink. Now I've cleaned off the stamps and I'm going to come in with some colors and we'll be able to see the colors on the black cardstock. I have here Lemon Drop, which is such a beautiful bright yellow. It's perfect for Pac-Man. So I'll go ahead and stamp him down. Oh, he looks so cool. Okay, I've got a few more colors. I've got Fruit Punch, Blue, White, and Creamsicle. I'm going to stamp a couple more of the little cute ghosties, and then I will color them with these colors. So it came out pretty well. I was actually surprised how well you could see it on the black cardstock. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this inside that gray area we have there. I'll just add some glue all the way along the back, making sure to get close to the edges, and then I can lay it right down in there. It fits perfectly. I did get something on my first cartridge I cut out, but that's okay because I decided I wanted this lighter gray anyway for the cartridge. I'll set that aside, set the pull tab aside, but I'm going to take the little white piece, which is going to fit perfectly on the cartridge. This is cut with the same exact die that you used to cut that front screen. I'm going to put it into my mini MISTI here and I'm going to stamp on this as well. So I'm going to put a couple of fun little messages. I have winner, one that says high score, and one that says new level unlocked. Gonna stamp these here in some Intens-ified Black Ink. I'll make sure just to lightly press on all of these. It looks really cool. And you could color these in too as well, like that winner sign you could color in with your alcohol markers. You could do all kinds of fun different things. So there's a little embossed detail on the cartridge which shows you exactly where that game label is supposed to go. I'm going to add some glue to the pull tab and I'm going to put it right behind the cartridge. If this backside bothers you, you could always cut out another cartridge and glue it on the back there. I made my own little pocket. There might be an easier way to do this, but I cut it to 3 inches by 3.5 inches and added 1/8 of an inch double-sided tape all the way around. So this is going to fit perfectly right around that game cartridge and hold it in place. I'll go ahead and remove the release tape here and then hold my piece as I'm attaching it to my card. I want a little bit of that cartridge to peek out over the top, so I'm making sure it's lined up where I want it, and then I can press down and go all the way around, making sure that double-sided tape is nice and adhered. So now this is going to pull out perfectly of that tiny little pocket, adds a fun little interactive bit. You also could just glue that cartridge directly inside. I used some acrylic paint markers because I wanted this to look a little bit more like the actual Pac-Man screen. Added those cute little dots that Pac-Man likes to eat. Here is the finished card. So cute. I love the dimensional on the buttons and then the interactive pullout. It's so fun. And then you can still open it and write your personal message on the inside. Such a cool retro card. All right, guys, I hope that you picked up some tips and tricks today. Please be sure to like and subscribe as well as hit that notification bell so that I can continue to bring you more crafty content in the future. Until next time, Happy crafting!